training video. My name is Randall Olson, and today we will take a quick look at making macros in Excel and then customizing that macro into your menu. First thing to understand about macros is it's recording actions. It's not like a video where it's actually following where your mouse goes and that type of thing. It's just recording the action that mouse or keyboard takes. And then based on those actions, it creates a programming command. And it's kind of like having your own personal Visual Basics programmer built right into the application, because macros can take any repetitive action or any action you choose, no matter how complex it is, and duplicate it with just the simple click of your mouse. But today we're going to keep it simple. We're going to just basically format some text, and we're going to keep that text customizable. And then we'll generate the macro from it, and then we'll create a menu and show you how to do that process. But you just have to keep in mind you can make it as complex as your requirements are for the Excel sheet. So to get us started, I'm going to mouse up here and right-click, and we're going to add us a row. Insert row. And the first thing about the macro is we don't want to record anything that we want to keep customizable. So I want to keep the text customizable. So I'm going to go ahead and type it in before I do any recording. So that's quarterly sales. Okay, and then the other thing we want to basically keep customizable is where we want it to center. If I were to start the macro now and start the recording process and then highlight from range A1 to C1, that's what the macro would record. And anything that I did to run that macro, it would want to run in A1 to C1. So we're not going to start the recording. We're actually going to highlight us an area first, and then we'll start the recording from this point. So now it's only going to record. It means everything up to this point is customizable, and then it's going to record from here on out. So we'll go to Tools, and you'll see down here we have Macro, and you'll see Record New Macro. Go ahead and click on it. We have to give it a name, and this is you want to use the same disciplines as a file name. You want to not have any spaces, and don't use any special characters in there. And you can create a shortcut key, and we'll make it T. And it says Store Macro In, and your choices are basically Personal, New Workbook, or This Workbook. And of course, if you put it into this workbook, it really will only work in this workbook. We're going to stay with Personal because that makes it global, meaning that we can use it in any workbook that we choose as long as we continue to save it, and we'll get into that in just a few minutes. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. Right now the macro is recording, so any action that we take, it's going to record. It doesn't record my mouse going back and forth like this, though. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of the merge the cells, so that it's centered nicely. Then let's increase the font. Let's take it up to 14. And then let's change the font type. And we'll stop the macro. I mean, it's literally that simple. We're just going to go to macro, and I always want to say macro, and we stop it. And so from this point, we have a repetitive action recorded as a macro. And we can go in here. It doesn't matter. I can type in just sales and highlight all the cells I want to affect. So I can take this a little bit further. And then from here, I can run the macro. And we'll go to Tools, Macro. This little green arrow means run. It's going to give you a choice. You can have 50 different macros in here, and it's going to give you the choice to which one you want to run. And you'll see here Title Format, which is the one we just created, and we hit Run. And when we hit that Run, it formats the system as we've recorded it. And that's how simple macros are. I know it kind of seems like, wow, that's a little too simple, but we could be doing very complex calculations or using formulas or whatever, and then literally we want to just go up and click on our menu and it would do it. So that leads to the next part. How do I get this up into my menu bar? And it is a very simple process also. We go in here to Tools, and what we're doing is we're looking to customize. So we open up the customization button. Now once Customize is open, there's a lot of things that you can do with the window open. And you can only do them when the window's open. And I've gone and clicked on that, and I didn't mean to, so let me get off of there. Okay. So as you notice here, I'm under the commands, and what we're looking for is you'll see we have macros. But first we want to generate a new menu for that macro. So we're going to go down here to New Menu, and we are literally going to grab it, left click on it, and we're going to drag it up into our menu system. And we're going to put it right after Data, and we're going to drop it. And it's generated the new menu. Now as long as this window stays open, we can right click in there, and you'll see Name. We can change that name over to, and we'll just call it My Macros. I think I'll capitalize my macros. There we go. And then we'll just click off. And now what we're going to do is create the button inside that menu. So we'll go to Macros, and you'll see here it says Custom Button. And we'll grab it, and we'll drag it up. And you see it wants to open up in there. So we're going to nestle it right in that new button area and let go of it. And so Custom, we're going to right click. As long as Customize window's open, we'll right click. And you don't want to take out the and symbol. You just want to put your new title in. So we're going to put in title format. And here you can put a space. And you can change, you see you got this little smiley face right here. We can change the button image. We could go over here and change it to something we like. Not really too many choices. We can actually make our own button if we want. We can go up here to Edit Button. And this is a smiley face. Now this deals on a pixel level, so we're just going to hit Clear. And I think what I'm going to do is take the red, and we'll find where we think center is. Right? And I'm just going to go down. That's center. Okay, erase those two. I didn't like those, which I really didn't have to do that, but anyways. And then I'm going to do a T. So with my T going, I think I'll go like this. And then I think I'll go like this. All right. Bear with me here. And being on a pixel level, it's you don't really have a whole lot of control over some of the stuff. Okay. And then it's giving you a preview down here. Of course, I could spend a little bit of time on it if I wanted to really make it look pretty. But I'm just going to leave it right there. We're going to hit OK. And so close that out. And now you can see when we mouse over and click, we now have our little icon that we made, and we have title format. So I could, again, go down to any other graph. I could type in something, quarter, and then highlight the area that I want it to be centered onto. Okay. I go up to My Macros, and I hit, oops, I misspelled title. Somebody should have told me. Title format. It's gonna. This is the only time it's going to ask it because it hasn't been assigned yet. So we're going, once we assign it to that button, we won't get that again. So I got to go back up, hit My Macros, title format, and boom, it does it. Now this is where you would store all your macros, and once you had them in there, of course, you'd give them whatever name you wanted, and it is literally as simple as a click. Now, the other thing you have to take into consideration is because we've saved this globally. When I close out of here, it's going to ask, do I want to save the changes made to book 1? No, I'm done with book 1 for today. But then it's going to ask, when I go to close down, it startled me, when I go to close down Excel, it's going to ask me, do I want to save the changes I made to my personal macro workbook? And that is always going to be yes. That way you have access to it again when you open up Excel. And that's it for this Take 5 in training video. I hope you learned something. And until the next time, have a great day.